Well, howdy, Nearly Senior Citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day as I gasp as I speak. Thumbs up. Of course, as always, I breathe filtered air through my sleep apnea machine all night, and then when I take my mask off in the morning, all the dust and stuff in the air, my sinuses fill up, I hack, I wheeze, I cough, I sneeze, I blow out like 1.5 pounds of mucus. It is joyous. So I'm still suffering from that. One of the reasons my voice is rough in the morning is because I've been breathing filtered air all night, and now I'm back to breathing particulates. Oh joy. But still, thumbs up, and thank you for coming along with me on this journey of exploration. Yay. Oh my goodness. I'm going to talk about the weather here. But first, thank you, YouTube, front loading of the video. Hey, if you could interact with the YouTube algorithms and toss me a like, that would be very cool. If you like what you see in here, if you could subscribe to the channel, if you like what you see in here and you haven't already, that too would be cool. I enjoy comments and I like reading them, and when I can, I answer as many as I can, so that'd be cool if you could leave me a comment. And I do want to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These beautiful and awesome people are literally beautiful and awesome. They help to keep me alive, and that is greatly appreciated. I am on disability, and it barely covers my rent, and costs are going up all the time. These beautiful and awesome people are truly beautiful and awesome. If you'd like to become a patron, I have links in the video description, wherever it is on your device. Don't feel obligated or entitled, but it is there if you'd like to check it out. Thumbs up. Yay! Front loading of videos. Oh boy. I went out Walkies last night. Probably shouldn't have. I thought about not doing it. Probably shouldn't have. It got warm and raining yesterday. So the stuff that hasn't melted is the stuff that's really solid ice. And on top of that, we had lots of freestanding water and slush. Now, snow and ice can actually hold a lot of freestanding water. If you've ever seen any actual science things where a snowball, just a packed snowball like this, can hold like 1 or 2 cups of poured water into it, and it's still just a snowball. All that water's held inside. So there's massive amounts of slush and freestanding water, and it was raining so hard and the snow was melting. Our drainage systems here in town are like most in the US, and that if they overflow, they are designed to overflow. The water is not going to go into it, so water would stop. And since I am in Shelton, Washington, water starts up at the top of the hills and flows downward, and the systems are overflowed. So the water just flows over the top of it, adds to what's there, keeps on running down the roads. All the way down the hills, there were standing water and flowing water inches deep, and slush and ice underneath it. Oh my God. Normally I walk anywhere from 4.5 to 6 miles in a night. I cut this one way short. Normally I start, like up here in southern Shelton, then I come down into downtown, and then I zip around, and then I make a big loop-de-loop, stop at Safeway, and then come back into southern Shelton. I just went, downward, went to Safeway, and back. I was so close to falling down so often. It was bad. I was using my hiking boots, and my feet were soaked through the hiking boots. And then I wake up this morning, it's raining light, and there's still unfrozen stuff. So it's going to be a nightmare for people that have to walk. Joy. Hopefully by the time I have to go out there, because I need to buy more cat dirt and cat food for my kitty cat, and with the supply chain issues and snow we've had in town, literally there's no cat food. I'm having to really pick and choose among the very few cans that are out there. Thumbs up for that. Life is life, though. Past that, I've been doing what I can. I've been exercising by doing walkies when I can. I'm on the second floor of a building, so every time I, have to go down and get something to eat or use the facilities in some fashion, I'm using stairs, so there's some small exercise. At least there's that. Past that, just been watching videos, trying to play video games when I can, and just survive the holiday season. One of the things that I've been having an issue with, and I don't know if this is what the problem is, and I'm going to talk about that. I use cannabis for pain control and mobility. If without it, I would be at the very least in a wheelchair. I wouldn't be able to even use a mouse or such. My hands are so bad right now, they hurt so much. With pain control, without, I wouldn't be able to use them. So I use cannabis for pain control, and for years, since I started in like 2015, I have felt pain control, a small bit of goodwill, and not much more. Now, what happened with the pandemic and all is, with smaller amounts of people, budget weed kind of went away for a while, largely, so there wasn't much, and then when it started to come back, it was really budget weed. And so for a long time, I've been having to use budget weed at the cannabis stores. Of late, prices have come down enough that there's you go from F tier, where I've had to buy for a long time now, there's E tier, which if you go in at the right time for happy hour, you get a 20% discount. It's only $6 more than it would be for the F tier stuff. So I've been spending the extra $6 and getting the E tier instead of the F tier. That could be a part of why I feel like I'm kicked in the head by a mule, not painfully, but just motivation and ability to do things of late when I'm using cannabis. It's not just giving me pain control and a vague sense of goodwill. It's pain control, vague sense of goodwill, a little bit of feeling good, and then I get forehead anchor and eyelid magnets, and it is just so hard to do anything. Now, it could be because of the change in the budget weed stuff. It could also be, I've noticed this now that I've been using 20 milligrams of Ritalin 3 times a day for a few months. My body has well and truly adjusted to this medication. About that time is when this all began to occur as well. So is it that now that my brain is functioning like it should, I'm being affected by the cannabis like I should, and so I'm getting more of that sort of effect instead of just, I can use my hands. It could be that. But either way, this is something I am having to push through, and it is rough, especially since with my insomnia as it is, I never sleep enough, and I have a sleep deficit that's about a decade deep. So I am inclined to fall asleep at a moment's notice as it is. And then add the sleepiness time stuff of cannabis on top of that. I tend to fall asleep a lot. So I don't know which it is. End result is it's the same, so the reason doesn't really matter. But gotta push through that too. Thumbs up. Now, of course, as stated, I've done all this not much, so I've talked about my life, and now I want to do some more world building. And there are a few people out there that do really enjoy it, but I don't know if people really enjoy or not like the world building. I get very few comments, and very, very few people ever talk about it, so I don't know. But I'm going to talk about it because it's very important to me, and this channel and my videos are for my mental health. And thank you again very, very much for coming along with me on this journey of exploration. Now, therapy and such has allowed me to be able to express my creativity and in a proper way that I haven't been able to do since ever. So it's been very exciting for me because with the setting I have, with the inside-outside razor's edge and cryptids and all that, it fits together so perfectly together for me inside of the framework itself. I've never been able to make a framework that fit together so well. I've always been distracted and hyper-focused on the wrong things. It's like, well, it's not a house of cards. It's, well, you know the silos that they put like cornflakes in? All the little pieces come together and it can hold itself up. It's all still just handfuls of cornflakes, but you can have these huge bubbles inside that hold up the entire weight, tons upon tons upon tons of stuff, because it's just all the cornflakes holding together. It's like that. They hold together and it's awesome. So I just wanted to talk more about that, especially since I've been talking about how there's the two characters that I really, really like now. There's Speleodonkus and Ray, and then there's Stovepipe Johnny. And the things that I've said that, to introduce the characters, things have happened that could be their own bigger stories. I mean, for Stovepipe Johnny, I'm going to talk about Stovepipe Johnny for a while. He was born like in the late 30s or early 40s, can't remember like that, but before he was 16 years old, he had traveled across the continental United States by any means possible. He just had the itch. If it moved, he used it. Horse, feet, cart, car, train, didn't matter. By the time he was 16, he crossed the continental U.S. twice. Very stubborn individual. Also has the sight. Also is one of those 1 in 1,000. And so he'd always, because he was contrary, avoided the doors that led to the inside, because if something told him he wanted to go there, well, obviously he didn't then. Until finally, when he was like 19 years old, he went through a door and discovered what the inside actually was. Traveled across the U.S., spending time going in and out, until finally he found the one that was perfect, where there's the Crimson Kingdom and the Apple Rock and all that. So he spent time moving through the Razor's Edge and then traveling onto the inside, and he actually got a room and such, and as a job working for industry in the Crimson Kingdom. And then he and a friend were out just getting drunk one night, and I've said that the odds on the inside and Razor's Edge of being eaten are small, but never zero. Now those are just, I've also said that they're the odds of attack. I mean, you're going to be attacked by something, and usually, 2/3 of the time, even more if you're in a place like the Crimson Kingdom, it's just going to be something that maybe you don't even know you're being attacked. That bee wants to kill you and eat you. You don't even know that there's a bee after you. To, here's a chipmunk that wants to get 2 ounces of its meat. To, here's a raccoon. To, now you're starting to get stuff that's really going to be iffy, is, like something the size of a golden retriever wants its pound of flesh. So you're going to get an attack that maybe it's like, it was a squirrel, so I beat it with a stick. So, in that spot every 5-10 years, but the odds of it being bad are small. But then they are small, but they're never zero. And so Stovepipe Johnny and his friend are drunk, they're heading back home, they're wandering through town, and they hear that noise, and here comes that big old lizard out of an alley with lots of screaming, and it literally just bites his friend in half. They're separated by about 10 feet. And normally when they don't talk about this a lot. You hear of fight or flight. There's actually a third response, fight, flight, or freeze. And in real life, 2/3 of the time to 3/4 of the time, when you are hit with a stress reaction, you will freeze. Fight or flight are less often used. And so this happens. There's all this noise coming right at them. They freeze, and out comes this thing about this big as a minivan, runs right between him and his friend. It could have looked straight ahead, could have looked left, could have looked right. In this case, it looked to the left. And right across through here, through the chest, and then down across the hip. That's where it bit Johnny's friend. And it just bit, tossed, ran, and Johnny's friend's head went one way, the arm went the other way, and the lower half of the body went another direction. Didn't even have a chance to scream. Just like that. Just run, bite, gone, and the fading screams as it continues running. So that was Johnny's introduction to, this particular inside is a lot safer than most in the world. The razor's edge is a lot safer than most in the world. But your odds of being eaten are never zero. They're only small. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab, and there's only like 6 people who left comments, but still I'm going to go through and thank each and every person, because guess what? Anything more than 0 is awesome, and thank you so much. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And of course, even though I'm counting American Sign Language with, I just talked about one of the big reasons I have memory issues now. I have memory issues, so let's hope I do good. Oh, now my tummy is causing me issues. We have Nathan LEHN, thumbs up and thank you. There is 50 subs, no videos, _ we can do it. Well, hey, and yeah, there's another channel with that stuff. Santiago Lopez, thank you very, very much. Ayo, greatly appreciated. Ben B, thumbs up and thank you. Zombie Wolf, good to hear from you. Definitely, and thank you for the comments. Very, very good. And that is it. 6 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. So, yay! But as stated before and stated again and will state in the future, anything more than 0 is awesome. So thank you very, very much. You do get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only for a short time and only in text. It is appreciated. And of course, with my hands in the air, hey, I don't know what device you're watching this on, so I don't know where the show more is for the video, but inside there are links to all of my various channels, also links to my Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and again, I want to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons, these beautiful and awesome people. Literally help to keep me alive. You keep my pets alive, and though they can't speak English, both Amelia and Little Ghost, my hamster, would thank you if they could. I can, so thank you so very, very much. It is appreciated to no end. And again, if you'd like to help out and become a patron, there is a link in the show more. Also, there's a PayPal, and I'm not above grubbing for your spare change, when you got next to nothing, anything else. If you'd like to help me out without sending money, I do have an Amazon wish list link with things like cat food on it. So if you could check that out, that would be cool. But of course, do not feel obligated. I do not feel entitled, and if you cannot or do not donate, I do take all good wishes. I deposit them in the bank of my heart where I draw interest, so thank you very much. And if you could toss me a like, I do appreciate all the positive validation you get from my existence. And of course, if you could hit the notification bell and the subscription button, that would be very cool. Greatly appreciated. A definite thumbs up. So Hokey smokes, it's Monday, the 3rd of January, and I am going to do my best. I've got phone calls that I need to make. Oy vey, I've got to get the bleed that I had in my stomach checked up on. I got to get a follow-up on what was happening while I was bleeding downstairs. I got other health issues. Maybe there's something wrong with one of my kidneys. And then I've got a skin cancer possible issue I need to check on. But it's on my back, so I can't even really take a good look at it. So, a lot of health issues, but you know what? The older you get, the more health issues you have. So, try to seek creativity, positivity, and balance, good things to build a foundation of a life upon, but just a foundation and not the only one. And of course, Covfefe bug still raging. Please do not be a statistic. It is a virus. It is nothing more than a disease. It is not a political hoax. It doesn't mean you have less freedom if you care about other people. If you don't have to go amongst others, especially the unmasked mouth breathers, please don't. If you do, wear a mask. Even if the unmasked mouth breathers aren't, you can at least do what you have to do right. Try not to touch your face. Maintain what social distancing you can. Wash your hands often. If you haven't, please get a vax. And if you have and you can get it, get the booster. Don't become a statistic. Don't spend, at a minimum, months, possibly the rest of your life, suffering from long Covfefe bug. Ugh. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and quite frankly, that in my book is a very good thing.